Armando, sorry for the sudden message. Can I talk to you for a minute?
Yeah, no problem. What's up? You had your checkup today, right? Did something happen?
No, the baby is doing well. They told me it's still early, so I need to be very careful. It's my first pregnancy, so I need to do a lot of research. There are so many things I don't understand either.
Maybe you should just let nature take its course. You're going to be a mom, so there's a lot to look into. I'll support you as much as I can. My parents are very happy about it. What's up?
I was just thinking that you're going to be a dad too, so you should be more than happy. Besides, not only supporting me, you need to study too, okay? I think parenting is supposed to be done together by husband and wife.
Okay, I'll do my best in my study about being a good dad. Your parents passed away early, and the only close relatives are your grandparents. If you're going to have the baby at home, it'll be at my parents' house. So let's go home together this weekend.
Actually, about that, let's try to do our best together as much as possible, okay? I'm not thinking about going back home, because I want us to do our best together as a married couple. And maybe could you tell your mother to hold off on the visits for a bit?
What's wrong with you? Why are you saying that all of a sudden?
She came to our house almost every day without an appointment. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be stressed out in the future.
What are you talking about? You won't be stressed out since you don't need to take care of Mom. She's my mother. Mom wants a carefree relationship with you too, so you can depend on her more. She's the only mother you have, right?
But she doesn't even care when I was lying down with a migraine. She just entered the house, then said that if I keep lying down, I won't be able to give birth to a healthy child. She forced me to eat lukewarm vegetable soup too. She peeked into the fridge and stole things like ham and cheese. She made me clean the house with a rag because she thinks that I don't clean well enough. I can't do that since my morning sickness gets worse nowadays.
Well, it's true that our house is full of dust these days. It can't be helped.
What did you say?
I heard that my grandmother also educated my mom strictly about that. That's the way it's supposed to be. I don't mean to take her side, but I can understand why it bothered her to have the room filled with dust. She only grows enough crops for her own family now, but she used to be a hard-working farmer. I'm grateful for my mother's kindness.
After we got married, until I told her I was pregnant, she's been a very good mother-in-law, keeping a good distance from me. I feel like she's suddenly changed. Maybe she doesn't want any grandchildren.
No, that's not true. Both my mom and dad are really looking forward to see their grandchildren. I'm sure of it. Anyway, I'll let my mom know that you don't feel comfortable having her visiting our house every day.
Thanks. That would be great. She usually comes in here in a bad mood and often gives me some lectures about how to clean the house and hang the laundry. It's very stressful for me. She also told me that when she was at my age, her mother-in-law used to laugh at her if she couldn't do cleaning properly. She is full of sarcasm. I felt so depressed. I think this isn't good for my baby too since I'm pregnant.
Don't worry about that. I think she was only joking. My grandmother was very strict, so maybe that's why Mom wants to discipline her daughter-in-law in the same way. The fact is, you don't know much about house chores, so why don't you be a big girl and learn from her? It's good to learn, isn't it?
What kind of mother-in-law was your grandmother? Did she bully her daughter-in-law?
What? My grandmother spent her last years in a retirement home where she died, but she was a kind, normal grandmother. By the way, my dad said we can do whatever we want with our warehouse.
Are you talking about that old warehouse behind your parents' house? You said it was full of junk and hasn't been opened in years. So, what are you going to do with that old warehouse?
It's old, but it's sturdy, and there's a huge carpet inside. I heard that giving birth at home is the latest trend.
Is that so? I've never heard of it.
I think giving birth at home is a good idea. Pregnant women can give birth in the most relaxing place. The whole family can wait for the baby, and there's no need for immediate hospitalization.
There may be some disadvantages, so I'll have to look into it. What if there are hygiene problems and some other emergency matters?
Well, I think it'll be nice to have the whole family to support the childbirth. It doesn't sound like it would cost a lot of money either. I feel there are a lot of advantages for giving birth at home.
If you are being stingy and I end up in an emergency room at the hospital during childbirth, you'll have to pay more for that. It's my first childbirth, so I want to make sure I have the best support.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it later. So, if you're going to have the baby at home, you can have it there.
What?
So, you can clean up inside. Except for my dad's fishing gear, he said we can throw everything away. I'm glad to know that you can give birth to the baby at home.
What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? I just told you, didn't I? I'm not going back to my hometown. And I'm not having the baby at home.
Don't say that. Let's just get this over with, one step at a time.
Wait a minute. Don't decide on your own. I'm the one who's going to give birth, remember?
I'm sorry that Mom said all those terrible things to you.
Huh?
I'm having a hard time since you don't get along well with Mom. Next weekend, let's go thank my mom and dad together, okay?
Thank your parents?
I'm going back to work. I might be a little late today.
You always come home very late whenever you say that. Just come home early today for sure, okay? It's important. We need to discuss it properly.
Well, it's for my lovely wife, so I'll do my best.
That's a promise you must keep. We had this conversation, but my husband, Armando, came home after 10 p.m. and he was drunk. So as expected, I couldn't talk to him. I guess maybe he feels that it's hard to suddenly become a father. We had been married for 2 years and had been taking it easy, letting nature take its course and hoping to have a baby when it came. My husband doesn't really understand about pregnancy and childbirth, and my mother-in-law is a control freak woman. I'm a pregnant woman who is having a headache every day by dealing with people like them.
Cindy, where are you? I heard you ran away from home. Are you aware that you're in your last month of pregnancy? Where in the world are you?
I'm at our apartment. I can't do this anymore.
Seriously? What are you talking about? You're going to be a mother soon. You need to be tough, and you're not trying hard enough. If you don't get your act together, the baby inside you is gonna be worried.
It's just impossible. I went to your parents' house today because your mother suddenly called me. That alone was hard enough. Not only the relatives, but even the neighbors were gathered there. Then your mother suddenly introduced me to those people. I had to serve tea while struggling with my big belly, and everyone asked me lots of questions. And then they all went on and on about the ins and outs of giving birth at home. What on earth was your mother trying to do?
They're all concerned since it's your first time to give birth, so don't take it personally. The culture in the countryside is just like that. People treat you as a family member.
I heard your mother gave birth to you in that warehouse. She was working even in the last month of pregnancy and went out to the fields right after the birth. She told me in a very grumpy way, I don't want to suffer from the same fate.
Yes, I heard that my mother gave birth to me at that warehouse. It's in the countryside. She said that a midwife helped her during the childbirth. That must have been a memorable birth, right?
Of course not. Besides, I heard that your grandmother took the baby. I can't imagine a childbirth like that.
Oh, really? I didn't know about that.
Are you telling me that your mother will be the midwife during my childbirth? You gotta be kidding me. I started shuddering just by thinking about it.
Of course she will. You need a certificate to become a midwife, and Mom has it.
That's not what I meant. I don't want my mother-in-law to be there for my childbirth. I don't want to be seen by her.
But I might be at work when you go into labor, so I won't be at your side. Don't you think it would be safer to have someone by your side at that time?
No way. I don't feel safe at all with your mother beside me. I'd rather be alone than to be together with that grumpy woman.
What's wrong with you? You seem to be hysterical. Is there a problem with your hormonal balance? It's hard for me too, being caught between my wife and mother. Just listen to what Mom tells you. It's as simple as that. If you don't get along with my parents, you are going to face more hardship in the future.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
I'm the eldest son in the family, so I have to live with my parents sooner or later.
I didn't hear anything about living together with your parents. You are the eldest son, and the farm owned by your family is now out of business. That's what your mother said when we got married. We should create a lifestyle together that fits us. I don't think we have to live together with your parents.
You're so silly. Why can't you understand Mom's true intention? Our ancestors have been farmers for generations, and it must be hard to give up the fields we inherited. That's why we need to live together. I'll work outside the house, and you can help the farm with my parents. We're going to have a baby. It's the best timing, right?
Oh my God, my stomach's aching.
Seriously? Are you okay?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe I'm just too excited. I'm going to the hospital from now.
Pull yourself together, Cindy. The baby is my parents' long-awaited first grandchild. If anything happens, call me right away.
I'll call you later.
Cindy, where are you now? You just texted me that you're going back home and you need some time alone. I don't understand it all. What on earth is going on? Please explain to me, Cindy. I'll let Mom know about this, okay? I don't care if you regret it later. You finally read my message. What on earth were you thinking, Cindy? Where have you been all this time? I've asked your grandparents and your friends, but nobody's heard anything from you. You only left a short note, but you read my messages, so the police wouldn't take any action against you. I'm so anxious, you know. Can you tell me what happened?
I was at your parents' house the whole time.
Huh?
You said you were going to report to your mother. You never called your parents even once. Can you explain that to me? Were you afraid that your parents will find out that your wife ran away from you?
It's not like that. It's just, I didn't want them to worry.
Well, that's okay. After you finish your work today, please come over to your parents' house.
My parents' house, okay. How's your health? Are you eating enough? By the way, I took the food delivery and ate some instant food all the time. As my wife, you should take responsibility for that.
I'm fine. Your mom taught me how to make molokea salad.
Oh, that's good. It's a wife's duty to learn the taste of her husband's family. But I thought you hate molokea. I'm proud of Mom because she made you overcome your dislikes.
It was hard when I had morning sickness, but now it tastes great.
We grow vegetables in our garden. You should ask Mom to teach you how to farm too. And you should keep eating it.
Why don't you learn from your mother then?
Well, farmers need strong women to take care of everything. My father doesn't do much work. I don't think a man would be of much use. Why don't you let Mom teach you? She's a good teacher. You don't get many great teachers like that nowadays.
Yeah, she was a really good mother-in-law. You know what? Molokea is rich in folic acid, which is necessary for pregnant women. Also, you should avoid ham and natural cheese in the first trimester of pregnancy. I was surprised when I looked it up later. I'm ashamed of my ignorance. Your mother is really well educated.
Glad to hear that you're willing to accept the fact now. You should thank Mom and listen to her. If you do that, you'll be safe from now on. Are you trying to live together with them now? You should have said something to me about that. I'm sure we'll have a great family now. 5 of us, including the baby, and we'll live happily ever after.
Once again, looking back at what you said, it's really irritating. Messages are so handy in a situation like this.
What are you talking about?
I saw the messages you sent to your mother.
Huh?
The more I look at those messages, the more I realize how much it sucks. You told your mother that I want to live with her and her husband to help the farm in the future. Also, that I want to raise my child in the countryside and help to bridge the gap between your parents and the people around them. I didn't say anything like that. How dare you told so many lies to your mother?
I thought it would go more smoothly if I said it was my wife's idea. I've been thinking about it a lot myself.
You told your mother that since I grew up with my grandparents, she'll have to be very strict with me. Moreover, you said that I'm a penny pincher, that I don't want to hire someone to do the housework. So you told your mom to let me do all the housework. I can't believe you convinced your mother to be a snitch. What on earth are you thinking? I've never heard of a son forcing his own mother to be a wife beater. Your mother must have been in a lot of pain.
To call my mom a wife beater is an exaggeration. She was just trying to educate you so that you can be a good farmer's wife.
I don't think so. Don't say it like your mother did it. It was your order, wasn't it? To top it off, she said it was my dream to have a home birth, and that I want to use the warehouse where you were born. Those are lies.
I was just trying to do the right thing.
Stop kidding me. Your mother is almost neurotic over this matter. That's why she's so grumpy. I can understand her feeling now.
What? Why? Isn't it exciting to have a son and a grandson born at the same place?
Are you crazy? Where in the world would a pregnant woman like to give birth in a dingy warehouse with zero sanitation? Your mother had no choice at that time because your grandmother was bullying her. I feel sorry for your mother.
What do you mean by bully?
Your mother cried and told me that she was in pain because she remembered what her mother-in-law did to her. Can you explain the details?
Crying? Why?
Your grandmother was the worst woman in the neighborhood. She must have been a terrible person.
No, she wasn't. She was a kind grandmother to me.
The neighbors were really surprised when you were born. You're not even 30 years old yet, so it was only 30 years ago. It wasn't during the war or anything, okay? In those days, most mother-in-laws made their children's wives work like slaves and bullied them like forcing them to give birth in a dirty warehouse. Both lives of the mother and child were in danger because there's a high possibility of infection during the childbirth. That's why she only gave birth to you. You didn't know that, did you? Your mother is suffering alone.
I didn't know about that at all.
If it's the trend nowadays that I want to use the warehouse for childbirth, she'd like to respect that. But she wanted to convince me to give it up because it wasn't safe after all. That's why she got the neighbors and relatives all gathered to tell me the details about home births. I think that's her true intention. It was a form of kindness from the neighbors and your mother. I feel bad that I didn't listen to everyone's opinion calmly at that time.
I had no idea about that. To me, my grandmother was a kind woman who had a lot of knowledge about everything. I wonder why she was bullying my mother.
I think it's because your grandmother was a penny pincher.
I'm sorry, but really, I was just trying to be a nice husband to you. I didn't mean to make you or Mom suffer.
As the conclusion, I'm divorcing you.
Huh? What are you talking about? Calm down. No one would allow you to do such thing. First of all, what are you going to do after the divorce? You're heavily pregnant and you have no relatives to rely on.
For your information, I have parents.
What? Your parents died and you don't have any siblings. Did you lie to me about that?
To be precise, I now have parents. I'm going to be adopted by your parents. I'm so happy that I could cry like a baby.
You're divorcing me because of that? I don't understand. Stop talking nonsense.
Your parents are going to cut ties with you.
No kidding. I'm their only son. I don't think they'll do that.
They said that you are a stupid son. I could tell how hard it was for your mother to cope when I saw her messages with you. When you actually tell her to become a wife beater. She told me that you sounded just like her mother-in-law. She doesn't want to see your face because you remind her of what your cruel grandmother said and done in the past.
I don't think my mother would say such a thing about me. I didn't order her to be a wife beater. I just thought that's how the relationship was with wives and mothers-in-law in the real world.
In a way, you're also your grandmother's victim. I'm sorry to hear that.
Maybe you're right.
Even if your parents adopted me, it would be legally difficult for me to keep you apart from me. As long as you're alive, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't come near my parents' house. They have agreed to leave me as much of their property as possible in the form of a living will to their grandchildren. I'll take care of your parents on behalf of you. I don't need you anymore.
Oh no, what am I supposed to do from now?
You'll end up just like your grandmother, dying alone in a retirement home.
No way, give me a break. I'm sorry for what I've done, Cindy. I'll listen to you wholeheartedly from now on. We'll raise the child together, okay? The child in your belly is mine, right? I'm also obligated to raise the child.
Are you telling me that you still don't understand your current situation?
What do you mean by that?
It's too late. My love and affection for you have worn out. Even your mother said the same thing.
I was just trying my best to be good to my family.
To be honest, I'm not blaming you for ordering your mother to become a wife beater. The main reason of our divorce is I can't take any more of your insensitive word choice and attitude. My child will suffer too if I stay married to you. I'll leave the rest to the lawyers. Please talk through them if you want to talk to me.
Wait a minute, Cindy.
Armando was very stubborn that he refused to cooperate and did not agree to the divorce. It was quite a struggle, but after the baby was born, we somehow managed to get divorced without incident. Of course, I gave birth at the hospital. My first child was a healthy baby girl. In the end, it was probably a good thing for my daughter's sake. The relationship between me and Armando's mother is very good now. I can live moderately well with my daughter between us. I'm very thankful for her support. About Armando's father, he's being nice to me, but secretly, I think he's afraid that his wife is going to divorce him after what happened with Armando. That's why currently, he's trying his best to be devoted to his wife. I think it's a good thing. I don't know what the future holds for me yet, but I would like to discuss it thoroughly with my family.